All right, what should we talk about today? How about the Elser? And if you haven't heard of the Elser, let me fill you in. The Elser condominium is part of the new wave of condo buildings hitting the Miami scene, which cater to the short-term rental market, and which in part will single-handedly change the landscape of rentals and rental investments in Miami as we know it. I know, pretty bold words, but stick around and you'll see why. In other words, the Elser and people who are buying the Elser are all buying into the short-term rental hype. Now, why is this important? Well, it's because downtown Miami and other areas like downtown Miami, such as Brickell and Edgewater, are not really that accessible to tourists and those looking to book a stay in the middle of Miami's most popular hotspots. Up until recently, hotels were really your only option if you wanted to book a stay, or you could get an Airbnb on the outskirts of town, but that's going to be outside of the action. But demand has obviously started to reach an all-time high, and developers have taken note of this, and as any developer would, they're going to fill in that need in the market. And now they're releasing what seems to be a staple and trademark of literally every new construction building that I've heard about, which is having a short-term rental component part of the building. The Elser and others like it is something along the lines of a mix between a condo hotel and an Airbnb, in the sense that not only are the restrictions by management in these projects far more flexible, like a condo hotel, but short-term rentals can be done via a third-party platform, and those rentals are actually encouraged, with the majority of these buildings actually providing assistance to those owners who have these properties that will actually help you host your guests. So given the fact that these properties are now kind of Airbnb compatible, if you will, for lack of a better term, it's no wonder that a lot of investors are clamoring to get their hands on this type of product. After all, with the highly enforced restrictions that exist in condominiums in the area and the lack of Airbnb options, buying a product that was designed to accept short-term rentals in a market that has a high demand for them seems like a no-brainer. But is it? So on one hand, the concept is great. You essentially have a captive audience with little supply and a done-for-you system, which allows you to rent the property on a day-to-day basis without the stress of running the operation yourself. But on the other hand, there's a talk of all this influx of this type of product all launching around the same time in a market with all these units having more or less of the same features and design and layouts. So there's really no real distinguishing factor that's going to set your unit apart from the others. Your ability, therefore, to get creative in the space is very limited, unlike a single family home where the options of getting creative are limitless. But in an area like Miami and in the short-term rental space, it definitely does pay to be where the action is. So I guess what I'm getting at, and what the main question is if you're considering buying something like this, is will the demand hold up when this wave of inventory hits the market? Or will the inventory be commoditized, being that price is really the only distinguishing factor? And you definitely don't want to go down that road, because we all know that a race to who has the cheapest price is not a sustainable business model. Now, it's too early to tell which one of these two is going to win out, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if you're bullish on Miami, then the Elser and other properties like the Elser may just be a great option for you. Now let's talk about the Elser itself. The Elser was built in 2022, and it pays homage to the Elser Pier, which played a pivotal role in Miami's history, offering great views of Biscayne Bay dating back to the early 1900s. Now, what's really cool is that today's Elser pays a captivating nod to its past, and it actually overlooks the same breathtaking views the previous Elser did, albeit in a definitely more modern rendition nearly a century later. The Elser today stands at 47 stories tall and has 704 units ranging from studios to 3-bedroom layouts, also fully furnished and finished. The amenities here are extensive with way too many to name individually, but it's worth noting that the amenity deck spans over 19,000 square feet and offers stunning views of downtown Miami and Biscayne Bay. Prices for these units are going to range from the low $700,000s to about $2 million. Now, today's property tour in particular explores the studio configuration, which is definitely an investor favorite. So if you're considering investing in Miami and getting into the short-term rental space, but you also want a property that doubles as a vacation home, then this would be something to consider. So we're going to get started, but not before I ask you to subscribe, ring that bell, and like this video. Doing those 3 things really make this channel grow, so help me out with that if you can. And with that being said, let's get started. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that I earned your trust enough to make you want to subscribe to the channel, as that would mean the world to me. If you're still watching and want to see more, then YouTube thinks you're going to be interested in this video, and I think you're going to be more interested in this. The choice is yours. Either way, I hope to see you around soon. Take care, and God bless.